Welcome to Feral Healing, two best friends, one soul bond, a podcast dedicated to eccentric healing, the kind of conversations that crack you up and your heart open. Now, here are your hosts, Camille and Caitlin. Welcome back to Feral Healing, guys. New era. Who even am I? I am Caitlin.
And I am Camille. We're so happy you are here. You guys, we just survived retrograde. That felt basically like a psychological exam, but also an exorcism. I don't know if anybody else felt that way, like an
Uh,
unprepared for examination,
absolutely.
dissection, exorcism, all the things. And nothing,
Yes.
Caitlin, friends, nothing was left. Oh, I don't even want to say that out loud. Nothing was left untouched.
No, no,
Nothing was left the same either. And somehow, yet
no.
everything changed. Everything changed.
Absolutely everything. The jobs, the homes, the relationships, the identities. Because we've been going through some identity crisis. It all cracked, burned, or broke.
And broke,
Broke
broke,
us.
broke
Broke
again.
broke again and again and again and again. And now we're standing at the edge of a new era and no script, no backup plan, just possibility.
Just hold on to your butts.
Hold on.
Caitlin and friends at home. Let's take a moment. Let's talk about what this freaking retrograde took from us, what it demanded of us.
Oh, all of the things, my soul, because it definitely took my soul and it went and then shoved it back together and was like, "This is who you are now." And I'm like, "Who is it?"
Which
I don't
one?
know. I don't know. No, but really, like, I mean, we both went through this retrograde season roughly,
As an
roughly.
understatement. And I feel like all of y'all listening in one way or another also had a very rough go at it.
I posted on Facebook the other day and I was like, I'm ashamed as an Aries that my anxiety has anxiety. And my my stepsister, my sister, she is also an Aries, and so is her husband. And
Lord.
yeah, there's a lot of Aries in our family. With all of the planets that are going on and everything that's happening within Aries and or sister signs or this or that that are related to Aries, it was just chaos. So as you know from previous episodes, my home flooded. All of these things are going on. So now I am moving on with my life. I think it's for the best. It has been a whole experience going through everything that I've been going through with this whole process and just really realizing the reality of how people truly are, how heartless this world really is nowadays. In which case, it kind of was ripping at me to become that heartless person. It was almost like a string pulling where I was like, I was fading dark for a while. I know you were like, hold on, sis, just like come back to us, come back to us. I was fading hard. A beautiful friend of mine, he has been a solid for me. He made me the sun he welded it for me. It was so beautiful. But he has been one who has kind of kept my head above water as well. It's just I'm transitioning home life, career, all of these changes that are going on. And because I am who I am as a person, I will throw myself in to working 7 days a week, which I do that normally anyways, but I will throw myself into so much work that I don't focus on a lot of things. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like this retrograde forced me. It was
Mm-hmm.
like, mm-mm, we're not going to transition you jobs yet. We're going to we're going to hold this and we're going to make you flow in this silence. We're going to make you flow in this
This
rest.
retrograde, Caitlin, I watched it sit you down and strap you in like a test dummy.
God.
Like a
It
test
was
dummy.
I have never like normal Aries, like any other who are my astrology girlies who really look into it and understand it. Any other Aries will tell you we look at retrograde, we're like, let's go, girl. We got
Mm-hmm.
this. Or boy, we're like, retrograde. This is our fun time. Like
Hmm.
everybody else is spiraling, and literally it took all of us and it sat us down, strapped us down, straight jacketed us, and
Hmm.
was like, rest, focus on what you really want out of life, and cut people out who are using you. It like really just took us and was like, nope, you're
Yep.
gonna you go sit down and you're going to face all of it and you're going to make those changes. Like even my mom, who is not huge into all of the astrology stuff, she was like, Caitlin, I just have this feeling that all of this is happening because you were meant to be somewhere else. You're meant to be doing something else. And you're meant to be
Mm, wow.
living a different life. And you, like, my mom, like, she's not that type who
Mm-mm.
normally attaches to spirituality like that. And so, like, she does spirituality, but in her own form. My family's pretty religious. And so, but for her to sit me down, and then my stepmom even said to me, my bonus mama, she said, Caitlin, I know that you've worked really hard for this life that you've built. She goes, but I was up until 3 o'clock in the morning because I have a feeling you're not supposed to be there anymore. She goes, I was sick.
Wow.
And she goes, I feel like so like all of my family who I normally talk this way to, and they're all like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They were all preaching it back to me. And they were like, we're worried about your mental health. Because I'm usually the first one to be like, we're gonna get through it. It's gonna be hard and it's gonna
Right.
suck and we're gonna want to scream, but we'll be on the other end of it. And I was straight up just like, I'm not going through, like, I don't want to do this.
Hmm.
Ugh. So, Camille.
So there's a beautiful lesson in that, though, from listening to
Absolutely.
it. It's, the straitjacket effect for you to learn who has your back, who cares, who's also seeing your alignment, even if it's not really visually present just yet, that those that are in the correct alignment mentally with you and soulfully, we're still here,
Yeah.
and because I think that there's a nature in Aries that's combustion, that's catastrophic, and it's very not impulsive, but it's very just big and immediate. It's very
Well,
immediate.
okay, so it is impulsive, and what's crazy actually about this retrograde
Mhm.
is we normally thrive in that,
Right,
right?
right.
Chaos happens, everything's combusting, and we're just like backpack on, dog in the arm,
Cheers.
peace, like, hey, I'm ready. And
Hmm.
this time, the universe was straight up like, mm-mm,
Mm-mm.
mm-mm. You're transitioning from that impulsive person that you are and that one that just goes with the flow, and we're going to make you fight for yourself. We're going to make you stay in it. We're going to make, and it forced us into this place where we're just like, and I can't, the countless times I have told you and Steph and my other really good friends,
Hmm.
the amount of times I said, I cannot get my head above water. I am being waterboarded right now. And it won't stop. It's not stopping.
Hmm. Which can be
But
extremely, extremely painful to a
oh,
fire sign.
oh, yeah, yeah. We
So
we big on the water. But with all of that going on with me, simultaneously, you're going through this huge shift.
no, I was good just talking about you there,
No,
over
no.
there. I was real
This
good.
this is a two-person party podcast.
Come in,
We are a
Camille.
team. Camille, Camille.
Speaking of when you were talking about when I was trying to offer, life support and lifelines, like you did the exact same thing when I was going through it, because in the retrograde era for me, because we're not entering into Virgo season, but that retrograde was all Leo back in July.
Which is also in your top three.
Yes. And there was like, and I'm a Leo stellian, is that the word? It's where you have like three or more. houses in the
Hmm.
same sign. So I'm super duper duper Leo. And so that incredibly dense Leo retrograde suffocated.
I just want to take a moment to I just had this realization
Okay.
that you are a Virgo and Earth sign, and I am a Aries, a fire sign. And the most signs that you have is in Leo, which is a fire sign, and the most signs that I have is a Capricorn, which is an Earth
Earth
sign.
sign.
And I'm just like,
Oh, that's why we're alter egos.
it really
We
is.
catch on eventually,
Yeah.
universe.
Sorry. Just had that ding
We're
light bulb
just, we're
moment.
just we babies out here learning this shit for the umpteenth time.
For the umpteenth
Fine. We've
time.
only been here since ancient Egypt, but we'll eventually get there.
Right. So we've been here for
So
many
many
moons
times.
together.
So
So
I,
Leo season, this
yeah.
retrograde beat Leos up. They beat fire signs up, to be fair.
hmm
And Leos were a big part of that.
Oh my God. And I had to learn about astrology even more so because of it. I was like, when you go through a breakup or you go through upheavals of any kind where your normality is completely combated, or
Hmm.
flipped or inverted or absolutely just blown up, right? I'm a Virgo by nature. So like I control and organization and perfectionism is where I live. And so having my love life take a turn and RIP, then my performing career took a turn and RIP'd. And there is nothing that I love more than love. And there's not much that can compete with my love with talent, or not talent, but my love with performing, of which I've been doing since I was a young teenager. And I've been doing professionally since I was an
And how
older.
we met.
And how you and I met within the stages of the Disney theme parks. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot for me to take in all at once, as well as my little guy transitioning out of little boy into big boy, leaving behind a school that unannounced and closed into a new
Mm.
school that was 40, it's a 40-minute drive commute. And so it's just like all of these new elements that are costing me more mentally, psychologically, emotionally, financially, in all of the different ways, while simultaneously losing all of it. Being faced with all of this like
Yeah.
unknown, especially in the love life department, but it was just like,
Twas for
oh,
the best. Sorry.
yes, yes,
I hope he's
yes.
listening.
Shh.
Sorry.
You're so bad. Aries,
The Aries will
Aries.
always remain.
But yeah, so that's basically it, that's it's all still really raw, though.
Yeah.
It's all so
Well,
raw.
the performing just
Happened.
changed, just happened a
hmm
few days ago.
Yeah. On top of friends, on top of the fact that I am having a full crucible experience in therapy with diving into like ancestral wounds with which that can cause an identity crisis. Going into my infancy and using my older siblings to gather new information that I had no idea about until recently, adding that into the pot. So it's a full-blown internal identity crisis because everything, Caitlin and friends, that I thought about who I was is being put on the altar, and I'm having to sacrifice it
Hmm.
without being prepared, which is a big issue on me as a Virgo. I'm just like, okay, it's fine. I can do that. That's fine. I'm dissecting it piece by piece, and it's extremely extraordinarily difficult while
Yeah.
simultaneously losing everything that all I want to say, the identity that I have had up until now gave me the talent and the skills to be the professional performer that I am. And the fact
Mhm.
that I am working on my identity, that same identity, and I have also lost or let go, I let it go.
Let it
At
go.
the same time, is that tragic poetry in the most kind of like Romeo and Juliet beautiful ways.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know, neither one of them could survive it. I think that that's why these losses haven't broken us, but they were necessary for us to stop being who we were to survive it, if that makes any sense. They were absolutely necessary for closing doors
Absolutely.
or letting them collapse
On their own.
by
On their
themselves.
own. It's
And
it's been extremely lonely, and which is weird because as an Aries, I like to be alone.
mm,
I like to vibe by myself. It was like my soul was like, sit alone. And I was like, and normally me, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna open up my book and I'm gonna do my thing. And this time, you know me, I've read 54 books since the beginning of the year. I read one book no, I didn't read one at all in June, and I read one book the entire month of July.
oh
And
wow.
and I was completely alone the majority of that time. I was just
Wait,
like,
so I have to know because I've had a question, but now I feel like it's appropriate to ask you.
mhm,
So, with this new era, what
mhm.
feels like a ghost limb in your old life?
Need to explain myself as an Aries, I'm going to over explain everything.
Hmm.
A mutual friend of ours recently told me, he was like, I appreciate how you make sure that you are understood and known. And when it comes to the podcast, I always will do that because that is who I am. I always needed people to understand where I was coming from so that you understood exactly why I was doing what I was doing. And now I'm just like, make up what you want. I don't care. Whatever. I
Mm.
no longer feel the need to explain myself to anybody in my life
No, I
because
love that.
everybody who is there for me knows. They already know. They already know who I am and why I am the way I am, and in which case I don't have to explain it to them. But with what are you grieving most that you left behind? Are you grieving any part of yourself that you left behind?
No, it's not necessarily grieving. And in fact, one of my coworkers at Disney asked me how I was feeling when I walked off the stage,
For the
right, for
last
the last
time.
time.
I'm so
Um,
thankful I was there.
girl,
I'm gonna actually, I'm gonna add a picture in so people can see.
yeah, so that's what I used to do.
Yes.
I've been doing that since I was 17 with Disney and Universal Studios, among third parties and other professional event companies. And I I'm different though, because I would say for the first two-thirds, it was for fun. It was for my career. It was for my delight. Um, and for, of course, the audience and connection. But the last third of it, it was survival. And so anybody that's ever experienced taking a passion, a talent, or a skill or a hobby and turning it into your career and then it becomes survival, you it kills the original
Yeah.
and energy and
It kills the magic.
yeah. And so for
Mhm.
doing that for 10 years in survival mode, I'm not grieving it as I normally would because I've been very blessed, and I don't use that word, but I've been very
Mhm.
generously given a wonderful new job and career. And this is the wildest part, Caitlin. I don't know if I told you this, but in the same day, the same day
I know.
that, oh, I did tell you about this. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was so in the morning, I'm in my new job. I've already been highlighted once before, and now I'm in the middle of training a new cohort. And all of a sudden, these trainees are like, "Congratulations!" And I'm like in a live Zoom focused on whatever it was. And I was like, "For what?" And they're like, "You got Employee of the Month." And I was like, "Did I?" And so they're like, "Yeah." And so, much to my surprise, that had happened, that had been publicly announced. And I was
Well
like,
deserved.
thank you. And I was like, oh, now here's the thing, y'all. If I'm in a costume and in a wig and I'm a character, I can take accolades and all of that real well. But like me, I'm like that too. I'm just like, oh, breathe. It's fine. Just say thank you and smile. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, thank you guys so much. I'm just the most awkward person in the world. And so then as that happened in the morning, very unexpectedly, not 2 hours later, I get a phone call from Disney, unexpectedly, where I received the message they would not be renewing my contract. And I was like, all right. Like it just, I was like, okay. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not grieving it. I guess
Yeah.
maybe it'll be a delayed thing, like 3 months from now. I'm like
Well, I know the day
bursting in
of
tears.
when I talk to you, you're like, I don't really know how to feel right now.
Yeah.
And then I think you got to your point where you're like, okay. And then the day of, we were all super emotional,
Oh
but in a,
gosh.
because it's like you and I,
Don't, you're gonna make
me
me
and Elsa,
cry.
well, Elsa and I should say, um, we literally looked at each other and we said, end of an era. This is the end of an era. This is how we met.
In that park.
This is in that park, in that exact park is
Mhm.
where we met.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, to close out that chapter together, I've got goosebumps like talking about it because to close out that chapter, like when you text me and we were like, hey, so can you come? I was like it literally. And then I texted you when I left and I was like, I'm not crying, you're crying. Because it was such a powerful moment. And how when I feel like when you first found out, you're like, I don't really know how to feel. And then as it was happening, we were both like,
This is
yeah,
this is
this is
this is
it.
good. This is it.
This is great. Hmm.
Yeah, and it's just, I'm so thankful with how
Hmm.
fortunate that career line has been. I've been able to experience so much. And when things just they swell and they're full, it's like when we eat, we're like, okay, that's enough. I'm good. Like
Hmm.
I had the last perfect bite and I'm so
Hmm.
satisfied with it. That's where I'm at. So, um, grieving, no, satisfied, yeah. That's
Yeah.
how I kind of feel about it. And more so because I had the right people show up.
Yeah.
The right ones were there. And I don't think that and you know this about me, but like that weird thing that I do with my food, that like slightly OCD thing where I like pair the perfect things together to make sure it's this. All of my sisters do it too, so it's a bishop girl thing. But it felt like that where I was piecing together my favorite, the best bite possible, and I felt like having you and then my mother who cut out the Disney audition clip from the newspaper at 16 and brought it to me, and having her there, having my son there, and having a special someone of
Yeah.
interest there,
And
it's
and
just
a
like,
new
what?
like it's crazy like having someone new close out a chapter because that's also happening with me
Hmm.
currently of like having this wonderful friend who's come into my life and the last time he came to visit he was like you deserve all the good things that are about to come to you. And I just need you to know you are such a beautiful person and you deserve all of the happiness and all of the love and all of the peace. He's like most of all, like you deserve the peace that's coming your way. And in that moment, I didn't understand it because I was still angry. Not at him, but at, and I was like, okay. I didn't say it like that. I was just like, thanks, because I was like really awkward about it. I was like, thanks.
Hmm.
But then I reflected on it after and I was like, when I started feeling that peace, I was like this chapter of my life here was with someone who was not even real. In which case, this chapter of my life doesn't even feel real anymore, you know? In which case,
Yeah.
it
Oh
doesn't
my
even feel
God,
real
that
anymore.
makes so much sense. Reflecting over here on my side, I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
it doesn't
that.
even feel real anymore. I'm just like, no,
So
it's
everybody out there that went through it, whatever doesn't feel like it's real anymore, let it go.
go,
Let it
go,
go.
let it go.
From the lips, well, I can't say that anymore, but
No,
from a retired queen herself, let it freaking go.
let it
Let it
go.
go. It doesn't serve you anymore, and it was never
No,
meant to be in your new era.
no,
This
no,
episode is for not only us, but for all
absolutely.
of us who have walked through
Absolutely.
what felt like the most crucifying experiences from the inside out, from the outside
Absolutely.
in of this retrograde, whether or not you got the closure, whether or not you've got any type of open invitation for your future, if you're just kind of sitting at some sort of door frame, this is for you. This is the clean slate, new identity, new era kind of
Whether your
terrifying.
cards are sitting there telling you the choice is yours, because that's what mine did.
Hmm. Hmm. This is for
Oh,
us. We dedicate this episode to you, to
to
us,
you,
to
to
new
us,
beginnings,
all the new beginnings
all
and
of the
new
new.
eras. So, Camille,
Mm.
we are becoming someone we have never met. In which case, how is that making you feel through this process of becoming? I know for me, I'm loving a lot of it, but there are some parts of it that I'm like, I don't know who she is, what's going on? And it's not necessarily like that I don't know who I am, but it's very much so a I don't know this version of me. I don't understand this calmness for me.
Yeah, I hate it. It's not hate, it's terrifying is the best way to put it. For me,
Yeah,
it's very intrusive, it's very delicate, it's very brutal and severe, all together in one very therapeutic cocktail of letting go the old foundation. It's that beautiful psychological thing. You and I have mentioned it before, where there was I think it was a psychologist I was watching, and they explained whenever you're moving into a new era or a new relationship, whatever it is, that we have been raised in one house. And our parents did the best they could with crafting the bricks that they thought were best. And they laid the foundation and all the bricks and all the things. Well, whenever you move out of that house and you're in your own independent foundation, you then are able to take the good bricks from where you left, add them to yours and your foundation, and craft it into something that you feel really comfortable and confident about. But when you are getting into a new relationship, romantically or otherwise, children, career, whatever, those really big life altering ones, a lot of people think that we're meant to take our house and their house and we're supposed to actually put them together. Well, it's not the case. We're supposed to take only the bricks that are really, really healthy
Hmm.
period, and build something new. And I feel like Caitlin, why I say it's terrifying is I'm not only having to tear down my adult house, the one that I built for me alone, tearing that one down, and I'm also tearing down my childhood one.
Mm.
Both of them have got to go because this one I didn't know better, and I took all of those bricks and put them into my adult one. And all of those
As did
served.
I.
All
Hmm.
of those that I was given in childhood serviced at least one particular parent's perspective of what love and success is. And that perspective no longer serves me moving forward in my future at all. So I've got to destroy down to the sand, the foundation.
Mm.
It needs to completely go.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying. Like having go to scrutinize each individual piece of my life and go, yeah, I guess that one can stay, I think. Let me look
Yeah.
at it more and make sure that there's not any evidence of a crack or a infection or something where I need to fill it in with some gold.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of effort and it's really scary and it's really exhausting.
Well, and it's weird because a couple years ago, when I did all that really deep healing, that's where I thought that happened for me. But really, that was the first crack. That was, well, I would say my first real crack was Mexico,
Mm,
but this one was like the me trying to understand that crack
yeah.
and trying to understand that part, in which case I was diving deep and I was realizing things, in which case it kind of it caused problems within my family unit that they were unaware of, but it did internally for me because I'm breaking down my childhood trauma, all of the things that I've been through and all of the really hard things that, my brain had blocked out a lot of it. And then all of a sudden it's rushing back in. In which case, I feel like I did a lot of the removing of the mask and the childhood stuff. But then I was in this weird place of still trying to exist as who I was for these past few years. I was still letting people in to my life who were a part of that old version of me.
Mm,
Because looking at like my last relationship, I would not acknowledge his existence now. You know what I mean? Like I had that realization the other day. I was like, this sound arrogant. It's not even like that. But there's countless guys just like him in my DMs, and I will see, I've read a lot of them. Do you? Like I've just gotten to the point where I respond to them hilariously, like ridiculously, like why do you want to get to know me? You trying to murder me? Like, because pretty sure my ex would have if he got the chance. I will thank him because if it wasn't for me going through all of that turmoil and everything that I've gone through in the past year since that, I wouldn't. My mom is my best friend now. And, I have an amazing relationship with my dad. I've gotten to spend so much time with my family. It has, he, him being such a piece of shit actually healed my family wound. Yeah. And so it's weird that, because had they have not witnessed it in person and
mm,
witnessed what I had went through, I don't necessarily know that we would be at this level that we're at,
mm.
in which case
Wow. That
I'll thank
actually,
him for that.
yeah, no, I actually really relate to that when you say thanking the exes. That's really profound. And I think that that's a really beautiful thing for anybody who's gone through a brutal history with a love life or a relationship, if you will, and to look back at how it's propelled either you and your relationships that really matter, how you were able to leave behind something and embark in something new. And I think that that's a remarkable mentality. That's a really beautiful, I don't know, level of maturity,
Hmm.
intuition and awareness, to be able to kind of look back at the enemies, whether those be your own shadows that had a part to play, whether it was
Absolutely.
their shadows that led a lot of it, But being able to look at those broken bricks and say, those cracks were necessary so that I
Yeah.
could move out of this ghetto ass scenario. You know, whether
This
it's whether
raggedy
it's this
situation.
ratchet emotional state or this really, really
Mhm.
crippling mental state, whatever it was, and being able to thank an ex or thank a parent, to thank a loss. I know that that
Mhm.
was a huge one for me, Caitlin,
Yeah.
whenever I was finally able to look back at my loss and
Yeah.
in a very odd way, unapologetically be grateful because I gained so much from it. And it almost feels like he was a martyr in a way for Jacob and
Yeah.
I to propel us into a
A different
lifeline,
life.
different lifeline
Mhm.
completely. And then the exes that I have had post my marriage and my loss of my late husband, those exes I could thank on a myriad of ways for teaching me, for teaching me so many things,
Mhm.
both good and not good,
Yeah.
So thanks for bringing that up because that is a beautiful thing. I think all of us should take time to really sit with and
It
appreciate the new.
well, and that's something that I was hugely reflecting on with this last transition. It was like, whereas I felt so alone, I've never had so much of a support system because it was like my entire support system that I had lost when I was in Mexico has been my complete, so it was a very healing process. So it was almost like I had to he was that sacrificial lamb that
Hmm.
healed my childhood and the childhood wounds and the adult wounds that happened that we were all still trying to heal from and try to understand. That's the only thing I'll ever thank him for.
Yeah.
But I can thank him for
Sometimes
that.
it be that way.
I think that them witnessing that was a way for them to understand all the things I went through while traveling that they didn't understand because they weren't present for it. They're able to look at that now and be like, "Oh man, it's a beautiful place to come to." And I can thank all of my other exes. My ex in Mexico, like he was my awakening. That whole my whole Mexico experience was the biggest awakening I've ever went through until now, I would say, because this one was the most soul ripping. So that was the hardest one that I felt like I went through, but this one was like reconstructing of my soul. It's like, or ripping away from my soul that things that were not my soul.
I'm just wondering, as I look at your situation, Mexico
Hmm.
versus now, these two giant combustions, if you will, of life.
Hmm.
And they weren't necessarily reinventing, but it's so interesting to me to look at it because I've been a part of both in two very
Hmm.
different ways. And the
Hmm.
first time, I mean, both of the personal elements are kind of the same, right? What you're
Hmm.
going through is kind of the same. However, the environment is very different. The environment, I mean, by your closest inner circle people.
Hmm.
The first round, it was complete and total abandonment. And I wonder if this round, because you had to learn something or many things by being completely and totally abandoned.
Absolutely. I will never look back at that experience and think, I wish I never had to go through that. It showed me who I was, and now I have to unlearn all the survival I had to go through to become. That's what I feel like this last one was. It was like, okay, now you have to shed that girl that you became when you were completely abandoned. You have to shed all of the survival version
Yeah,
because you no longer, it is time to stop surviving.
right. We're
You
stepping into
have to
the version that can no longer exist.
Hmm.
while we
Exactly.
can't become a butterfly if we're still hanging on to our caterpillar
Absolutely.
mode. And we're
Absolutely.
meant to be beautiful, beautiful butterflies. We're supposed to
Absolutely.
have a metamorphosis, you know? I don't know. If
Absolutely.
we were to reflect on this new era and letting go of the things that no longer can exist in our future, what doesn't feel real to you yet?
Oh man. I guess we know my biggest problem is my pride. We had a whole crash out episode about my pride. And I've kind of through this whole process screaming about how like that's happened, but simultaneously I was not alone, and me screaming saying I can't ask for help was me asking for help, and people responded. In which case, by trying to still hold on to it, the universe was like, we're going to force you to scream about it instead of isolating, which is what I normally do. And then you're going to scream about your pride and how you're too prideful to ask for help. And that in return is going to bring you the help you need. The idea of asking for help still makes me extremely uncomfortable.
I
It
think it
still makes
makes
me
most of
extremely
us
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me extremely uncomfortable, but I feel like I don't have that pride hanging over my head.
Hmm.
There's still a little bit of it that's lingering. I like have to take a moment. Like I did, I've told my mom, the other day, I lit a candle and I literally screamed my anxiety into it. I have to let that version of myself go. If I do not get rid of the anxiety, if I do not get rid of the stress, if I do not get rid of this voice in my head telling me I have to do it all on my own, I won't be able to become the next version of me, because the next version of me is a huge part of community. I feel that in my soul, like it's a completely different version of me.
Mm. Like you're not willing to even carry it anymore. Not even
Yeah.
allowed. It's not allowed in
Mm-mm.
the tribal circle. And I love that.
Mm-mm.
I think that what we're accepting are and this is all of us, every single one of us listening. What is what are your wings looking like these days?
Mm-hmm.
Like I want all of us to become so magnificent with our new colors and our wings and strong little butterfly legs and our antennae, but really starting to unfold those wings really slowly and carefully, and starting to flutter
Yeah.
them. And I really want us to visualize that, like as a
Yeah.
ritual, and then
Absolutely.
what what are we willing to carry and how unrecognizable are we about to become? How unrecognizable, you know?
Absolutely.
Because if you think about it, 10 years ago, I highly doubt 10 years ago the person you are now is going to look back and go, yep, that's the same. I,
Absolutely not. And if
and there's
she
no
does, I'm
judgment.
gonna slap her. I'm
Well,
gonna
I won't
backhand
judge,
that hoe.
but Caitlin's going to backhand you. So,
I'm a backhand that hoe.
goodness, Caitlin, do we realize that 10 years ago, 2015, and I
That was when
was
I left Florida.
to go to Mexico, to go
No, it was
Arkansas,
20, yeah. Hmm.
Arkansas, because I was
So,
in Mexico in
yeah. So, okay.
2015.
So we in 2014 is when I left then. So it was my
Hmm.
first year out of Florida. And your first year, really? Well, I say that because, you're originally from Mississippi, but you know what I mean? It was you went on your mission and then you were in Mexico the next year, you
Yep,
know?
yep, yep, yep.
So
Uh,
you were in Canada and I was in Arkansas.
10 years ago, that's where we were. I was a very fresh off of the mission, Mormon, young 24, 3-year old, somewhere in there, and freshly married 10 years ago, living in Mexico. as a Mormon. That was 10 years ago. So when I say that you can blossom and grow
I
and
was in
develop,
hair school. I was in hair school in Arkansas.
what were you guys doing? I would love to know what you were up to
Yeah,
10 years
please let
ago.
us know what you were up to 10 years
And what
ago
are the
because I'm
biggest
curious.
differences from then till now? And then, my friends, what will be the biggest differences from now and the next 10 years when we get to look back and Caitlin and I are like, whoa, we were in our, mid 30s and starting a podcast 10 years ago. Look at us now.
Look at us now. We have our own show.
We're in our
Manifesting.
40s and sound like we're in our
Manifest.
70s. It's fine.
And we have our own show.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
Manifestation. Manifestation.
That would be so fun. Oh my gosh. And, I think that there's so much power and really considering whenever things start to collapse, it only means that when that dust settles, the only thing left to do is rise,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
And it's a beautiful thing whether or not that the embers start their spark again, either from you or from a loved one. Either way, it'll get sparked.
When you start stepping into who you truly are, people around you start noticing. Either they love it or they were not good for you and they hate
Uh-huh.
it.
I was about to say, when you're sifting like that, the
Hmm.
ones that are meant to stay will stay, and the ones that need to fall through will fall right on through. It's kind of a magical scenario where things that are not meant to be will fall out of alignment real fast. Even if the
Hmm.
struggle is there to stay, and it might be very painful to let go of or to receive that they're letting go, they need to sift on out of there. And that
What?
brings, oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say some of the people and jobs and places and stuff that I thought would be sifted out this go around did not. In the places, I was shocked with some of the people and things that sifted out this go around. And it was a really hard hit for me, but it was one I really needed to see.
So with that, what do you think that we're holding on to that doesn't belong in this new era? I'll tell you mine, it's fear.
Mine, I guess mine would essentially be fear because I have so much anxiety about what's next, what's coming next, that it's like crippling anxiety. And I've faced depression for a long time. And um, I mean, my dark humor is definitely a side effect of that. And so I've faced depression for a long time and I've faced all these other thing ADHD, like all of these like other things that I've had to navigate my life through. But I have to say the majority of my life I have not had this crazy amount of anxiety. I'm normally the one that's just like, we'll figure it out. It's gonna
Hmm.
be all right. And the excessive anxiety I feel right now is telling me that I really am a completely different person
Hmm.
than I was.
Hmm.
And it's not, and the normal me is I've got this and holding 10 other people up while I'm trying to get through this. And this time I'm like, I can't hold anybody up. I mean,
Hmm.
I can, like, but it's a give
But not
take.
like how you
You know what I
used
mean?
to.
No, exactly.
Not
I
like how,
can't.
because I witnessed that
Mm-mm.
one. Mm-mm-mm-mm. And
Yeah.
I'm really proud of that you're realizing that it's okay not to, and that you're
Hmm.
holding accountability and integrity as prefaces for filters of people, and
Yeah.
a mutuality even. And I've sat back with popcorn watching you do it. I'm just like, yeah, girl, get it, get
Because
it.
old me, it would have been like, all right, what can I do for you while I'm
Right,
drowning?
right.
And and
Well,
so it's been a huge shift for me.
I think that the future version of yourself is going to be real grateful that you learned how to say no. I was actually just telling s- someone very special recently. that whenever these kind of bad things, these really challenging times or devastating events transpire, the collapses, you know, I was like, I've come, and I feel like you would resonate with this. It's like I've come to a place where I'm almost unfazed by it. And all I say now,
Yeah.
Caitlin, the thing that I say now, just add a new notch on my belt of empathy.
Hmm.
That's all I can say to it now. Whenever I've lost, this show at Disney, I'm like, just add a new notch to my belt of empathy because now I can resonate with other people. Whenever I had that recent experience that was traumatizing, it's like, well, I guess I needed that experience so that I could have empathy for the next person. And it's just really interesting to have that perspective. And I think that I'm stepping into that future self in this era, looking back on that gratitude, going, all right, well, I guess I'm grateful for at least that perspective. And I hope that I can
Absolutely.
sustain it, but it's a
Well,
new.
and it shifts because I felt like I'm going through the opposite where like I've always kind of been that person that's like been through this, been through this, been through this, and I'm at that place where I'm like, I'm tired of being unfazed. Which I'm going silent, like I'm silent about it, but I'm also like placing people where they belong. And then I'm also speaking my mind about what I deserve in life because I'm really good at being that. I've always been really good at being that voice for
That
somebody
is
else,
funny. You
but
and I have
not for
completely
me.
swapped. We have completely, because now
Hmm.
I sit in a place where I'm like, I don't want to talk anymore. Just demonstrate. I'm not going to say
Yeah.
nothing. I'm just going to watch. I was like,
And I,
like you and I,
yeah,
we're just in that era of new, no longer.
yeah. And it's, essentially in a lot of ways, we're transitioning in the same ways, but
Hmm.
then but it's requiring us to react differently in some ways.
Hmm.
And I think it's because my whole life I've always been, too loud, too much, too this, too that, but it's always been for the benefit of someone else. And I'm not really good at doing that for myself.
Right.
Now I'm at that place where I'm like, no, I need my space. I need my time.
Because we all deserve it. And I don't think I told you this. But after my late husband died, I watched some weird TED talk, and this psychologist was up there, and she was saying, omit a word from your vocabulary that no longer serves you, and watch how it will change your life radically. And the word that I omitted was deserve.
Mm,
So I've had a very long journey with that word
mm,
because I felt like I didn't deserve. And the word in of itself was very fictional to me because no one deserved anything. No one can have control over deserve. Control being that pivotal word there, right?
hmm. Yeah.
So I have come a full circle gradually, and it's not necessarily deserve in such a strict textbook way, my perspective. It's that reap what you
Hmm.
sow. It's that set up for
Hmm.
success. It's that look forward, look backward,
Yeah.
and just do your damn best.
Yeah.
Just do your damn best. And what you give out there, in theory, one would hope it does come back to you, and or at least it's left behind for your legacy, you know?
Absolutely.
So I
Hmm.
think if we're all going to move forward into this new era with our big, beautiful butterfly wings and whatever colors that they want to transition into, I think that there's at least one ritual that we can all carry forward with, and that's gratitude. Looking back on that past era that we've just left behind and finding the hardest moments in our memories and thanking them because
Hmm.
they brought you to who you are today, the wisdom, the maturity, the perspective, the awareness,
Absolutely.
the
Hmm.
ability to change, the ability to adapt, the ability to
To
listen,
evolve.
to evolve.
To evolve,
Well, that's
baby.
it. Caitlin closed it. We're done. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
It's a beautiful thing, and I truly am really grateful for you, Caitlin.
I'm
Um,
grateful for you too, babe.
for you being in my life and for anybody else that's listening to us. We are grateful to you for being a part of our
Absolutely.
lives and being part of this journey with us. And we hope that these stories and these perspectives can benefit you in some way or another.
Hmm. Absolutely.
But I guess we could say we don't need to have it all figured out. We just need to begin again.
Absolutely. We just need to be willing to walk forward without dragging our past behind us. The ball and chain, let it go.
Mm.
Let
Let
it
it
go.
go.
Absolutely.
Well, if you're still standing or listening or sitting or whatever you're doing,
Whatever you're doing with us.
if you're standing on the threshold too with us in this beautiful new precipice of
Hmm.
the unknown and the
The
future,
unknown.
if everything is unknown, if your past just burned down to a crisp and your
My
future
life.
isn't speaking quite clearly, my future, just know you're not late. You're actually just on time. You are in alignment.
Absolutely. You don't need a map. You don't need a full plan. You just need to name what's over. You just need to let that go and honor what's beginning and what's becoming.
Mhm.
So, guys, please DM us if you have gone through anything recently that's, if you felt this, if you've been going through this shift, or if you haven't, maybe you're just beginning your shift. Maybe this wasn't that season for you. I find that hard to believe, but but please tell us your stories. We are
Mhm.
begging you every time.
Mhm.
And thank you as always for being with us
And until next time, we will see you.
in the shadows.
Bye. Mwah.